Hey folks, Corey Kupfer here with video number 9 in the 10 tip series for RIA firms looking to grow through mergers, acquisitions, tuck-ins, and onboarding deals. So I queued it up on the last video where we talked about negotiating. That the next thing I'm going to talk about is positioning. Now, I want to acknowledge here, I'm sort of skipping a step because obviously after due diligence and negotiating is closing the deal, but there's not a lot of talk about, lots to talk about in terms of closing. I mean, honestly, if you've done everything else, that I teach in these last 8 videos, closing is mechanical, right? You have your attorneys, accountants in place, whatever, you're going to sign the documents, etc. There's not a lot to talk about there. So let's assume now we're closing the deal, and this applies sort of pre-closing and then after closing as well. Is how are you going to position this deal? Now, what do I mean by positioning? Well, you have a number of constituencies or stakeholders that are going to be impacted by this deal that you're going to do. You have your clients. You have the clients of the other people that you've onboarded or acquired, etc. You have your custodians who and your other professionals who you've definitely talked about in advance for that. You have your employees who, depending upon how you're doing this deal, you may have let them in a lot or not so much, depending upon, who they are, what role they play, how much you wanted them to know. So you want to think about in advance, because everybody assumes, hey, I'm going to do a deal, it's all going to be great, etc. But they don't necessarily think well about how we position it out to the marketplace. So that involves the communication strategy that you're going to put out to your clients, because depending on what kind of deal you do, you're probably going to want to let them know. You're certainly going to want to let the target client, the people you brought in, the onboarded team, the company you've acquired or merged with, you're going to need to let their clients know. I mean, first of all, you're probably going to need to let them know for regulatory purposes and contractual purposes, because you're going to need to assign their agreements over or have them sign new agreements. And sometimes that's done by positive consent, negative consent. I'm not going to get into the legalities of that, but we certainly help people with that. But the point is, there's going to be a communication from that, and you're going to want that communication to the client, not just to be, hey, we need to assign your contract because so-and-so joined so-and-so. You want to know how you're going to position that out to the clients to show them that it's beneficial for them. Because obviously, change creates the risk of not retaining clients. Now, firms who do this right retain a very high percentage of their clients when they do a deal, but the communication strategy out to the clients is important. And part of that is, you've created your value proposition for advisors. Like I said earlier, hopefully you have a value proposition for your clients. I said that in an earlier video. So you're going to obviously put that out to the new clients who are coming in. And listen, that's something that firms usually do a pretty good job about. It's top of mind, etc. Making sure that their professionals and structures are involved, aligned, and their professionals make sure that everything's in place. They do that. The one they more often have problems with is how they position it to their employees. Because sometimes when somebody new comes in, or a team comes in, an acquisition comes in, people feel threatened. There are people in your organization that just don't like change. And there are people who may not be happy for a number of reasons on doing the deal, or at least it creates a level of uncertainty for them. So to have an understanding of your positioning to employees, when you let them in and let them know what's going on, it may be different for different people in your organizations, what your messaging out is, and having a sensitivity to how that's going to land with your existing employees and contractors and key personnel, and also, by the way, your business partners, your referral sources. You want to take into account and hopefully anticipate any concerns that they might have in terms of what this deal will mean to the culture of the firm, to how clients are handled, to anything else like that. So definitely think about your positioning to all the key stakeholders when you're doing a deal, and look out for video number 10 with the 10th tip coming up soon.